Well, one of the biggest interviews that I've done recently was Neckbone.
That's a G homie.
Yeah. I mentioned you at one point in the interview.
I was surprised to see him.
Oh, so you remember the day that Suge lost Death Row?
Yeah, I was there.
Wow.
When he came back to the office, he was in the rose, the black rose he had bought.
I was talking to Wack100, and
Wack wasn't around.
Wasn't he around?
No, when Suge lost Death Row, Wack wasn't there.
He wasn't?
No.
Okay.
But I had ran into Wack at the Four Seasons though. He was doing something else, trying to get in the game.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Fair enough.
Yeah, but he was doing his thing though.
Yeah, shout out to Wack, man. That's the homie.
He was doing his thing, but yeah, he wasn't.
No, that's a G homie. That's
yeah. Oh, there's a second interview coming also. We've already recorded it.
Yeah, I was surprised to see. Now, I knew about that one, and I was told, you better not say nothing. I said, I'm not going to say. When you put the picture up, because see, Neckbone, he can tell you the real, what was happening in that office. He can tell you, how they really handled dude when they wanted to, because you know that he had that team around him. But to see Neckbone doing an interview, and I'm glad he did it with you, because somebody would have played with him, the wrong person. He is who he is. It's crazy because he could be really kind of like a happy-go-lucky type dude. You could see the seriousness in his eyes of where he come from, what he been through. And but he's a serious individual. I'm glad the homie was out. You know, I'm glad he's overcome some of the things he's had to overcome. And he is one dude that can really speak on death row and the deaths. I think the last time I seen Neckbone, and you can remind me of this, I might have pulled up to the row and Suge had been bullshitting him. Something was going on with his car. And I got mad that he had him on hold, and I just gave him whatever he needed. And said, man, handle your business. You know what I mean? Do what you got to do. But Neckbone's a real dude. I got to watch that interview, bro. Did you?
Yeah, it's in the members right now.
Did you ask him some? Well, you probably did. I know who would give you the real questions.
Well, what did you think I asked him?
I know you probably would ask him some Tupac questions.
Well, yeah, I mean,
definitely.
He is the only person that I have interviewed that was actually involved in the MGM fight.
Involved in shit. Neckbone was there.
Right, no, he was involved in everything. But I'm saying,
yeah.
I mean, there's certain things he wasn't involved in, like the Vanilla Ice situation. He wasn't there for that. He wasn't there for the Dr. Dre signing over the contract situation. He was locked up during those times. And he's very truthful, man. He's very open about everything. But he was there during the MGM fight, and he broke it down step by step as to what happened.
He told you Trayvon told.
No, that's not what he said. What he said was they saw him, Trayvon was having a private conversation like with Suge, and him and Tupac kind of walked up, and Tupac kind of hopped into the conversation and heard what was said and then just took off. And he said that he actually tried to grab him, but Tupac was too quick. He also said that it wasn't his job to protect Tupac that day. It was Frank Alexander, his bodyguard.
You reviewing back, where was all these security people at? The security. Where y'all at? You know, man. But like I said, when we was waiting on our cars, we had Pac posted from Perimeter. We was watching him and everything because we had to take over because they ain't showing up. Frank's standing there, but he looking all, you know what I'm saying? Then when it was time to go back to the house, we got our cab, we was straight because there wasn't that much traffic going that way. Then when we left the house to go to the club, the whole time we trying to, you know, but they zigzagging and doing this, and then the police right here, the police over there. If we would have just went straight and they would have just let everybody who was surrounding them stay like they was, we'd have been straight.
Cause Tupac wasn't a homie.
Right.
See, if you a homie, it's always our job to protect one another. We there.
Right. He would always tell Pac, sit down, we'll handle this. Don't get involved. We got this. This is not for you. He also claimed that Tupac was a Mob Piru. We talked about the mob tattoo and everything, and he was like, well, he was with us, but he wasn't officially that.
That's a fact.
Right. I guess Pac and MC Hammer both got mob tattoos around the same time from the same tattoo artist.
Well, MC Hammer, believe it or not, was at Death Row as well.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
You know what I'm saying? A lot of people don't know that.
He was. They both got mob tattoos. And he was like, well, you know, Tupac was saying mob before then. I say, yeah, but
Nah.
when you hanging around a bunch of Mob Pirus,
When you say M.O.B., when he said, believe me, this is M.O.B., when you say M.O.B., and you down here, that mean one thing to us.
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
But he gonna tell you he wasn't officially, which he wasn't. And that's one thing I didn't respect about Pac is like, everywhere he went, he would turn into that.
Right. He was a Crip at one point. He was a
Instead
Blood
of
at one point.
Yeah, just be you.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Just be who you are everywhere you go. Bun B.
Yeah.
Everywhere Bun B goes,
He's just Bun
Trey
B.
the Truth,
Yeah.
cats like that, they didn't been around all, they ain't who they are. So, yeah, that's I don't think a lot of people know who Neckbone, you know what I'm saying? I don't think a lot of people understand what that is.
Well, they do now.
That is the closest thing outside of Reggie. And know what? It's closer than Reggie because some situations, Reggie wasn't privy to because they wasn't going to allow him to be privy to, right?
Right.
And Reggie will tell you that himself. That's the closest you're going to get to the truth without experiencing Suge's exaggeration and lies to some things that really happened or how it really was.
Yeah.
Or who really got slapped up in there, who really was scary, who really was crying over there in the corner. He got some stories. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, for those of y'all don't know, go check that Neckbone interview out. He's definitely one of the originals.
Well, what was interesting in the story was that the night that Tupac got shot, they were all hanging out, preparing to go to Club 662, and I guess Club 662, the air conditioning was out. So Pac didn't want to wear a vest, thinking that it's going to be too hot. But they'd already fixed the air conditioning. They were trying to tell him that. And he said, Pac, wear your vest, your bulletproof vest, and Pac ignored him. And I remember talking to Edie that same day before the interview, and he said he remembers Castro from the Outlaws also saying, yo, Pac, you gonna wear your vest? Pac's like, nah, so he just left it alone, right? Because you're not gonna tell Pac what to do, but I've heard now from multiple people that they asked him to wear a bulletproof vest.
See, but that's the problem. Sometimes, well, again, you know, that was business. A homie, knowing you going into something, they gonna tell you what to do. And it's your job to hear it how you're supposed to hear it.
Right, because had he wore that vest, he would have lived.
That's a fact.
Because he got shot in the chest mostly, right? It wasn't really in the face.
Chest.
Right.
Backs. You know, sure.
There you go.
Yeah, yeah.
It would have minor injuries.
Yeah.
There you have it. He would have lived.
He would have lived.
If he would have just listened to the people around him to wear a vest, especially right after jumping somebody who is known to shoot people.
Yeah, he was a known. Some people you can't put your hands on. First of all, some cats, if we see them and you can't go all the way, you just let that be and watch them, make sure they don't try to do nothing to you.
Right.
Because if you put your hands on them and let them get away, by the time you get home, your mama or your auntie might be gone.
Yeah.
Sometimes you got to know what to do. But again, he was in a different, this ain't the Bay, this ain't Baltimore, wherever, and New York is serious like that too. But you got to know who's who, bro.
Yeah.